Hey everyone, it's Jack here, Talk Norwich City, back for another video. I hope you guys are all doing very well indeed. It feels like it's been quite a while since I've done one of these videos. Since I've filmed the last one, I bought a Christmas tree. It is November the 20th, and the Christmas tree is up. I'm fully in Christmas spirit, and I'm not afraid to say that one bit. What I am afraid to say is that Norwich City are currently bottom of the Premier League table, and this weekend we travel to Everton, to Goodison Park, one of my favourite away days in the division. Love Goodison Park, one of them proper old school grounds, big, can hold the atmosphere really well, and just a really good place to go. And I saw Seb Basong score a 93rd, I think, or very late goal there, and sat next to Danny Pacheco. I think I've told that story multiple times, but it was very good fun. We've got a really tough game on our hands this weekend, like I'm sure the rest of the games will be in the Premier League. Everton haven't started the season too well either. And then you look at their team and realise just how hard this division is. The fact that they are down in 15th place. They were lower than that until a few games ago, and yet they've spent millions upon millions upon millions of pounds. They've turned it around slightly in the last few, but they're still only on 14 points. We're on 7, but already that gap is starting to open. There's already a 4-point gap between us and 17th place, which is Aston Villa, and the teams above us, Southampton, Watford, Villa, West Ham, all on paper and probably all in principle, are better sides than us. So I think we almost have to write off the past few weeks. It was really frustrating not to be picking up points against Watford and them kind of games. And to be honest, we didn't deserve to either. We've looked second best for quite some time now. I was looking back at that Manchester City game the other day, which was just over 2 months ago. And I watched that, and it still baffles me as to how we managed to put in such a performance with such a makeshift team. We've got more players back now than we had for that game. So it's almost like, okay, we had that fantastic result against Newcastle. We had an even better result against Manchester City. 2 games, we played such free-flowing football. We countered the press so well. We defended admirably. And yet we haven't been able to really even put a decent performance in since then. Me and Chris, and I'm sure many of others of you went to the Bournemouth game when we drew 0-0, and that was for me a really promising result, and I thought we could really build off that. And for whatever reason, we didn't. But I think if we're going to take any game this season and want to replicate it, that is the game we want to be taking for this game against Everton. It was a solid defensive performance that day. It could have quite easily gone our way. Pukki had a few great chances that day. But in terms of setting up solidly, that was the best I think we've looked defensively all season. I think the big thing for us this season, I think, yes, you can look at the defence and it's been ravaged with injuries. We've got a few more players back now. It's a doubt whether Jamal Lewis will make it after his injury on the international break. But even if he isn't back, I'm confident that, I don't know, Sam Byram could go in there or Philip Heiss, and I think that's fine. It's the midfield that's worried me throughout this season. I don't think Daniel Farke quite knows what his best midfield 2 is. I think that Tribal has to be in there. I think the return of Mario Vrancic from injury is huge. I think we've really missed him, and more than I thought we'd miss him. I haven't been fully sold on Moritz Leitner at all this season, which limits your options, because you do need that defensive solidity and the legs that Tom Tribal brings, but you also need the calmness and the presence of a Mario Vrancic or of a Moritz Leitner. But I don't think Leitner's the option next to Tribal, and I don't think McLean's the option next to Tribal, although both of them have had games in isolation where they've looked really good this season. So that's a real conundrum for Daniel Farke to work out, and I think once that conundrum is fixed, then we will look a far better team. I think the players in front of that midfield, whether it's Hernandez, whether it's Buendia, whether Stiepermann goes in there, whether Vrancic is pushed forwards, whether Patrick Roberts is in there, I think that's an easier fix than the midfield at the moment, because we haven't been breaking play up well enough, we haven't been creating enough chances, and we haven't been turning play over quick enough, and also we haven't just been getting the ball down and playing our game. There's been games very reminiscent of them Chris Hughton days at Carrow Road this season, and that's the most painful thing for me. Is yeah, I'm fine if we want to try and give up our philosophy, but at least really commit to it, rather than try and play out from the back sometimes, or try and go long sometimes. I'm convinced that Daniel Farke does want to stick to his philosophy, but we just need to go all in, rather than play 20 minutes of the football that we came to love last season, and 20 minutes of hoofing it long and hoping that Pookie gets on to the end of it, that he's not going to do. So Norwich City have questions to answer, and there's certainly a lot of unanswered questions that have been posed by this team this season. Am I confident we'll stay up? No. Will I continue supporting the boys until the very end? Yes, of course I will. And a lot can happen from now until the end of the season, but we are going to need to start picking up points sooner rather than later if we want any chance of staying in this division. I think a point at Everton would be a really good building block for that, because you then return to Carrow Road against a fairly weak Arsenal team with hope. That's all we need, is hope. We need confidence, and that's instilled with gritty away performances, and then you can build on that at Carrow Road. So there's a lot to do this weekend. I'm confident that they can do it. I'm not going to give team predictions or anything, because I've done that a lot this season. I've never been right. So I'll let you guys give me your team selections down in the comment section below, and also let me know your score predictions. I'm going to go for a very optimistic, heart over head 2-2. Because I've said 2-2 all season and it hasn't come in, so I'm confident it will come in this weekend. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. We've got very exciting videos coming up very soon. It's the TNC Podcast 100th episode special soon, and we've got a good guest lined up. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.